Hello everyone, welcome to our YouTube channel. This is the second part of our WordPress on AWS series. If you haven't seen the first part where we created an AWS account, set up budget and set up MFA, you can click on I button to watch it. In this WordPress series, we will be creating this architecture. On the left hand side, you can see users will request to open our WordPress website. That request will be received by Route 53. Route 53 is a domain management service in AWS. We will use Route 53 to host DNS entries of our website's domain. Then Route 53 will send request to ALB. ALB is short for Application Load Balancer. Application Load Balancer handles distribution of the traffic. So if you have multiple instances of same website, then it will handle all the incoming requests and equally sends them to healthy instances. ALB also support SSL certificate through another AWS service, which is AWS Certificate Manager. We will use AWS Certificate Manager to issue a new SSL certificate for our domain name and ALB to apply that SSL certificate and send request to EC2 instance. EC2 instance is a virtual server where we will install all the needed packages to run WordPress and create files of our WordPress website. At the end, to make sure our architecture is safe, we will not be making EC2 and RDS accessible to public source. We will enforce security via security group rules and other security tips that we will see at the end of the series in the security video. So don't miss it. In this part, we will be creating an EC2 instance which will be our virtual server and RDS instance which will be used for database hosting. Most cool thing is that we will create this architecture under guidelines of free tier services. So cost of running this architecture for first 12 months will be almost $0, which is free and a great way to get started on AWS. Let's start by going to EC2 console. Click on Running Instances. Click on Launch Instances to create an EC2 instance. Here on this page, we have to configure our virtual server as per our requirements. We will name it WP instance. Here we have to select operating system of the EC2 instance. Please select AMI Linux 2 and make sure architecture is 64-bit. Instance type means how much virtual CPU and RAM your EC2 instance will have. While selecting this, make sure that only few instance type falls under free tier. So here we will keep it micro as instance type, which is free tier eligible. Key pair is the passkey for logging into EC2 instance. We will click on create a new key pair, enter name of the key. I will name it WP instance. For key file format, you have to choose PAM if you are using Linux or Mac system. If you are using Windows, then please select PPK. I am on Mac, so I will select PAM file and click on create key pair. Here, you can see our key file is downloaded. Please keep it safe, as without this key file, we will not be able to log into our EC2 instance. Also, keep it private, as anyone who has access to this key pair can log into your EC2 instance. So please keep that in mind. Let's move on to network settings. Every account comes with a default VPC and subnet group, which is free of cost and helps you a lot in managing network infrastructure of your architecture. If you want to know more about VPC, I have added a document in the description of this video, so you guys can read about VPC, private subnet, public subnet, and other networking components. We will make sure public IP is enabled as we are creating our server in public subnet. Security group is a set of firewall rules that allows or denies traffic to and from EC2 instance. It contains set of inbound and outbound rules for each request. We will name our security group WP security group, add description of the security group, Here we can see an SSH rule which is allowed by default, so we can connect to our EC2 instance. I will add two more rules. First one is HTTP rule and allow it from anywhere so everyone can make HTTP request to the server. Second one, I will select HTTPS and select source type as anywhere. For the storage, you can get 30 GB under free tier. I will just keep it 15 GB, which is sufficient, and click on launch instance. Great, our EC2 instance is being created now. Click on the instance ID to open EC2 console. Here we can see status of the instance is pending. It will take about 2 to 3 minutes to be in running state. After a while, we can see status as running and instance is passing all the AWS health checks. Now we can connect to our EC2 instance. Select instance, click on connect button, select EC2 instance connect and click on connect. If you see welcome message, then you are successfully connected to the server. Second way to connect to EC2 instance is via SSH client. Select the instance, click on connect and go to SSH client tab. Here we can see command to set permission of our key. Let's do that quickly. Open terminal on your computer, go to the folder where your key file is and paste command and hit enter. After that, copy this SSH command to connect to EC2 instance, paste it on the terminal and press enter. If it asks about adding key to known host file, say yes and press enter. That's it. You are now connected to EC2 instance. We will run update command to install all the pending updates. I will add all these commands in description section of this video so you guys can copy from there. Update is done. I will just clear the screen so you guys can see better. Now we will install Apache server, which is essential for WordPress or most of the servers to run applications. HTTPD is the name of the Apache package for Amazon Linux. Let's start Apache by sudo service httpd start command. If you see, this means your Apache server is started. Let's check it on browser. Copy public IP of the EC2 instance and open it on a new tab. Well, if you see test page, then everything's working great. WordPress is built on PHP language, so we need to install PHP on this server. Type in command to install PHP. Enter Y for yes, and it's done. Let's check installation by typing php-v. V stands for version. Here we can see PHP 8.2 is installed successfully. Another dependency we will need is MySQL Server. We will install MariaDB package on Amazon Linux for it. We need to start MariaDB service. Let's check status of it. Here we can see DB service is running. Let me clear the screen. Change directory to home by cd tilt command. Let's check current directory by pwd, which is present working directory, and we can see we are at home directory. Let's download latest WordPress files from their official website by doing below wget command. Here we can see latest WordPress version is downloaded. Let's unzip it. Now you should be seeing WordPress folder with all the necessary WordPress files. WordPress needs a database to run properly, so we need to create a database before we go ahead with the installation of the WordPress. For the database, you have two options. Option 1, you can create a database locally on the EC2 instance and connect it locally via localhost, or second option is to create a RDS instance and host your database on it. As a being solution architect, I always recommend to keep the database separate on RDS instance for durability and security reasons. I encourage you to do the same. Let's move back to AWS Management Console, search RDS, click on DB instances, click on Create Database button to create RDS instance. Make sure your region is same as your EC2 instance region. In my case, it's North Virginia. We will keep it standard create. Select MySQL as engine type, and the 8.0 version is fine. Here, select free tier so we don't get unexpected monthly bill for our database instance. Selecting free tier will gray out paid options. Enter name of the RDS instance. Please keep that in mind that this is not your database name. This is RDS instance name. Database name comes later. Also, you can create multiple databases under single RDS instance as well. I will enter WP database as instance name, username, admin is fine. I will select auto generate password, so it will create a random password. Select micro instance type for the database. Minimum storage is 20 GB, which is more than enough. Under the connectivity, make sure to select same VPC as of your EC2 instance. Default subnet group is fine. For public access, we want to keep it private for security, so please select no. Create a new security group for the database. I will name it RDSSG, and here you can select same availability zone as your instance for easier communication. I will just select no preference. Now, if you need enhanced monitoring and some additional useful metrics of the RDS, you can turn on monitoring here, but this will add extra cost to your billing, so I suggest to keep it unchecked. Expand additional configuration. Here, enter your database name. I will enter WP_database. Keep other settings as default. AWS provide automated backup service, which is additional cost, but once you are in production, I strongly recommend to use it. You can keep database backup up to last 35 days. For this demo, I will just disable backups. Now, it's a good practice to encrypt your RDS instance. I will just select default key. If you need database engine logs, then do select respective log, and you can get these logs once database is up and running. I will skip it. Keep other things as it is. Enable deletion protection, so it can protect your instance from accidental deletion. If you have this turned on and want to delete RDS instance, then first you have to modify this option to turn off, and then only you can delete your database. I will keep it on. Based on the options we selected, you can see estimated monthly cost here. If you see a higher amount, please verify all the configuration again. Now, please do check you are not crossing this threshold of RDS free tier service, which is free for 750 hours a month, 20 GB of storage, and 20 GB worth of backups. We made sure to follow this, so we are good to go. Click on Create Database. It will take about 5 minutes. Once you see status as available, click on View Connection Details to see RDS credentials. Copy host, username, and password of the database somewhere safe, as you will need it for database connection from our EC2 instance. Now, to make sure we can access database from our EC2 instance, First, open RDS and go to security group. Here, we can see inbound is only allowed from one IP. We need to add an inbound rule to RDS's security group, allowing server's security group to connect to RDS on MySQL port. Click on security group. Here, you can see all the security group created in your account. One is default security group, which we are not using. Other two security groups we created while creating EC2 and RDS instance. Copy security group ID of EC2 instance and select RDS security group. Select inbound rules, click on edit inbound rules. Here we will add rule, select type as MySQL/Aurora, port is auto selected. Here paste ID of EC2 security group and add description. Click on save rules. Now let's check if these rules are working or not. Open EC2 instance dashboard and click on connect. Here we will just use EC2 instance connect method to quickly verify connection. Command to connect to database is MySQL-edge, then hostname -u, then username and -p and press enter. Please note that whenever you are typing here, you will not see it writing any text. This stays same for all the Linux systems, so don't worry about this. Once you are done writing your password, just hit enter. If you see welcome message and MySQL terminal, then you are successfully able to connect to RDS instance. We will check if our database is created or not. By show databases command, we can see wp_database is already present. So now we can start the process of WordPress installation. If you have watched and followed tutorial till now, kudos to you. Please consider liking this video and subscribing to our YouTube channel. First, let's copy all the contents of WordPress directory to var www HTML folder. We need to do this because anything at HTML directory will shown on our home page by Apache server instead of current test Apache page. I will paste all these commands below in the video description so you guys can copy from there. Another important thing is to add your current user, which is EC2 user, in Apache group. User mode command for that. And to make sure we can see the effects, we need to exit and connect to instance again. Now we have to change permission on var www folder so EC2 user can modify WordPress files. We will type these three commands to do that. With first chown command, we are changing ownership of the var www folder, and with next two commands, we are changing actual file permissions. This is crucial for everything to run properly, so don't skip this place. Let's move to HTML folder. Here we can see wp-config-sample.php file. We will create a copy of this file and name it wp-config.php. This file contains configuration of WordPress website. Here we can see wp-config file is created. Let's edit it by nano editor. On the config file, we need to change database parameters so WordPress can connect to our database. Enter your database name. Enter username here. Password of the database. And paste host of the RDS instance. Press Ctrl+O key to write and then Ctrl+X key to exit from nano editor. It's tricky, but you will get used to it after some time. It's always a good practice to check your changes to file. We will check contents of the file by cat command. Here we can see our file is modified with our database information. Another step is to allow WordPress to use permalinks in Apache server. We will need to edit a parameter in Apache configuration file. To make this setting, use this command to open conf file in Vim editor and go to var www directory block. Here we have to change allow override from null to to all. To type in Vim editor, first press I key to get into insert mode, then only you can type. When you want to quit from Vim editor, press escape key, then write :WQ and press enter, which is write and quit option. We have used Nano and Vim both editors in this video, so you guys can get exposure of both, and in future you can use whichever is more comfortable for you. Now, to make sure everything is saved and new settings are applied, we need to restart Apache server with restart command. Once that's done, open public IP of the instance to install WordPress. Now, take a note that if you click on the open address link, sometimes you might get error connection refused error. That is not an actual server error. That is your browser doing HTTPS request rather than HTTP request. Just remove S at the end and press enter, and you can see actual page. Enter title of your website. Enter your username. I will just copy given automated password, and you have to enter your email address. If you don't want search engines to index your site, then you can check this box. I will just leave it unchecked and click on install WordPress. If you see success message, that's it. You have successfully installed WordPress on your server. Let's see if we can log in or not. Here, enter your email and password, which was set by you while installing WordPress, and click on login. This is WordPress admin panel to manage contents of your website. Click on visit site to open your newly created WordPress sample site. It looks great. Now you can go to pages menu to edit as per your business needs. I cannot explain all the aspects of the WordPress editing on this video, but it's pretty straightforward. This is it for this video. In this part, we have created an EC2 instance and installed all the necessary packages for WordPress on it. Created a RDS instance for database hosting. Connected RDS and EC2 instance. And created our wonderful WordPress website. Thanks for watching. If you found this video helpful, please hit the like button, share it with your friends, and don't forget to subscribe. It's free for you guys, but it helps us a lot and motivates us to create free useful content. If you have any questions or suggestions, feel free to drop them in the comment section below. See you guys on the next part of our WordPress on AWS series. Until then, happy cloud computing.